Hey everybody, my name is Jennifer. This is Metatron is speaking. I'm going to be talking to you today about a couple different things. Couple different things. I think this might actually end up being kind of a strange video because I have so much to talk to you guys about that I'm just going to start like combining things that maybe don't necessarily go together, but I have I have a lot. I have a lot. Okay. First thing I wanted to talk to you about was a really strange experience, and I just thought it was interesting and worth hearing about. So you'll remember from some of my previous videos that I've been working with Creator in the form of Raw to do Lightcode transmissions. And he also gave me other individuals that I can work with, gave me all my Oracle cards I have down here. So one of the other groups, ignore the word, that's not the point of this one. One of the other groups that he gave me to work with are the whales from the galactic ocean realm. So the other day, I thought, okay, I'll try this out. I'll connect with this whale group in order to transmit a light code. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to give the light code to myself because I don't know what's going to happen. So sure, creator can think of something to give me, or I guess the whales. Um, so I'm going to tell you the vision I saw, and then things are going to kind of get dicey really quickly. So first thing I see is I'm standing on the edge of this cliff. So there's this like cliff, I'm on the very edge of it, and there's this massive ocean all out in front of me. And the view is like from behind me, so I can see my whole body, plus I can see all the ocean. And this is hard to explain, but I I take my hands and I'm lifting them up like this, and then I do like prayer position and I bring it back down. But as I'm lifting my hands up, I can hear many, many violins because remember, these light codes to me, I can hear them as music and I can sometimes like see them as color or like images. So I hear these violins getting louder and louder and louder, and they're like tuning. And then as I go down, they go, they like get quieter and stop. And so it kind of like was freaky because it was violins. I haven't heard violins yet. There's a lot of them. And because of how many violins were being used, it felt like it was like one violin for every whale in this galactic ocean realm collective. And so it felt kind of overwhelming. It felt kind of emotional. I felt like kind of reverence or like respect when they did that, and I could hear it. I just kind of felt like, whoa, this is a powerful thing, is the vibe I felt from them, which I wasn't expecting because, like, these super chill whales, you think, oh, the whales are just, they're lax, but there's power to them too. Okay, so I do this thing with my hands, come down. I get spooked because it was freaky, and then I have to go back into the vision. So I go back into the vision. I dive off this cliff, which is crazy because it was really high up, and I dive into the ocean below. And so I hit the water, and there's like all these bubbles around me that are like floating up, and it's really quiet, and it's kind of comforting in this space. It's kind of like being in a womb, like the womb of a mother. Like it's just very quiet and relaxing. And so I'm trying to figure out, okay, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Because like you're in the vision, but you don't know what's happening. You're just kind of watching yourself do things. Um, so I saw this massive whale kind of moving, swimming beside me slowly. And so I swam over to it and I got onto its back and kind of held on to it. And so I'm on the whale, and I've done this before. I had another vision where it was the one where I met with all these different galactic groups to make soul contracts with them. And the same thing happened. Although last time when I was on the whale's back, it was literally in the galactic ocean realm. That's how I found out about it, which is just basically starry skies. It's like the cosmos, but it's like an ocean. There's all these ocean animals there. Really cool. Anyways, so in this one I'm in an ocean. Looks like an ocean. And so I'm riding on the whale. I'm just kind of doing this, really rhythmic, relaxing, a little bit slower than that, but we're just doing that up and down motion. And I hear one cello start to play. And so it's very like emotional. It's almost sad if you've heard a cello, I'm sure. Um, so I look beside me and there are magenta colored starfish that are kind of like floating by as we go. And so I reach out my hand and I grab one of these starfish and I know to put it on my third eye. So note to self, if you ever have a vision with magenta starfish, do not put it on your third eye. You'll see why. So I put it on my third eye because that's what they told me to do. And I start hearing these like really big drums that have like an echo. They're called shoot, I don't know if I wrote it down. I think they're called like timpani drums. Really big drums that they use for orchestras. Anyways, so I could hear that. And all of a sudden, there's this light in front of us, like we're heading straight on into this light. And it's really bright, and the light is all encompassing. It goes all the way back behind us. So everything is this light. It's no longer like ocean, basically. And so the light, it's bright, it's white. And then as I start to look at the color, it's not just white. I see light pink and like light blue and light green and like soft yellow. There's all these pastel colors. And it felt like a portal, is how I described it. I'm like, huh, this is a portal. Like I can tell we are traveling somewhere. And so I don't really think much of it. I hear a violin. I hear the drums again. For the violins, they were showing me, and this is strange, they were showing me because whales, at least blue whales, certain whales, they don't have teeth. They have like, I don't know, these fibers. They look like a bunch of strings or a bunch of fibers that they use to filter feed. It's called a baleen. And so my guides are showing me that the water running through their teeth, they were making it analogous to like a violin, the bow on the strings. And all of a sudden I notice, like, because we're still doing this, we're still chilling and we're going up and down. And I noticed that we started vibrating, like this low grade vibration. And I'm like, huh, wonder where we're going. um, and so I'm like noticing the light, and I'm like, gosh, this feels healing, and this feels like kind of like the sun, like it's radiating this warmth on my face. And then I was like, wait a minute, this feels familiar. So I'm sure all of you have vaguely heard of the white light tunnel that everyone goes through after they die to return back to Creator. The whale took me through the white light tunnel. So we're in this white light tunnel that you're supposed to go through when you die to get back to the other side. And so I kind of freak out. And then I'm going, oh no, my brain is like, no, 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 no. You're not allowed on the other side. You're not dead. They're just going to use this tunnel to like heal you or something, and then we're going to leave. That's what my mind is trying to tell me. So I'm like, okay. And the reason I know I'm not allowed on the other side is because I do work in the astral realm. And so I very frequently see this white light tunnel, but I have never in this lifetime seen it from the inside the way they were showing me. I've always seen it from the outside, and it does look different colors, to be honest. And so I've also seen it at a distance always. And so it's me directing departed souls, hey, this is where you go. Um, so there have been times where souls are resistant to going through, and I've had to like, they're resistant because they're like in the really low dimensions where it's really confusing. Anyways, I've had to like pick them up before and take them through the tunnel. Well, one time I tried to do that. I picked them up and I tried to take them through the tunnel, and when I did that, I got pulled right back out, and the soul got to go through, but they're like, you do not go through the white light tunnel, and so I have to have Michael do that if they need to be picked up. Um, So I know I'm not allowed through that tunnel. So I'm like kind of freaking out that I'm in the tunnel. So all of a sudden, everything goes white, like bright, blinding white. And I cuss because I'm like, for sure, I have just reached the end of this tunnel. For sure. And so what they show me is like the representation of what they've shown me of like the 12th dimension, where, and this is probably looks different to everybody, not gonna lie. My representation is like everything is like pink and blue, like the sky is all pink and blue, and there is a layer of clouds for the ground, and there's also like some clouds kind of at our level and higher. But so this is where I've been dropped off, and I see that there, and by the way, so I know this is confusing because you're like, what the heck? I thought we were doing a vision and you're supposed to be getting a light code. Yeah, we were. Creator had other plans, and so it switched over. So I'm off the whale. I'm in 12D or something that looks like it. Um, there are two little boys there, maybe 4 years old, and I can see myself. I like look down at myself because I'm like actually in my body. There's no body. I'm in myself, and so I can see that it's the 4-year-old version of me. Like it's me, Jennifer, as a 4-year-old, and so that kind of freaked me out. And so I see myself, I'm like laying down and I'm like rolling around in the clouds and I'm like laughing. These little boys are playing with me and we're all having fun. And I know them. I have no idea who they are in real life. But man, I know those little boys. We play all the time up there. Um, I could feel that. I don't have any memory of it. And we have like these little tiny child laughing voices. It's kind of funny. And so all of a sudden, in real life, in my physical body, I can feel my throat hurting. Like not like a sore throat that's like up here, but like throat chakra throat. And it really is uncomfortable. And it just keeps going and going and going until I kind of acknowledge it. And so, oh, this is the thing I forgot to tell you guys. Before I started my light code with the galactic ocean realm whales, I got the chills. And I was like, whenever I get the chills, it always means it's Archangel Michael has shown up. He's the only one that does that. And so I was like, Michael's here? Michael's going with me? And it was like, yeah. And I'm like, that's weird. This is just a light code. Whatever. Didn't think too much of it because sometimes he just hangs out with me. So I didn't put too much together. So now I'm up in the clouds with these two little boys rolling around laughing. My throat starts hurting. And now I can see Archangel Michael. He shows up in the picture. And he tells me that this is the age I was when trauma damaged my throat chakra. And so I was like, okay. So I was just absorbing everything as he's telling it to me. And then and so he told me that, and actually he appeared right after that, I should have said. Right after that, he appeared in front of me and he was like being sweet. Like he had like his hand on my face And I was looking up at him and I was like, "Am I looking up at you because I'm 4 and I'm like really short?" And he's like, "No, you're 20 now." What? And I like looked and I'm like 20 years old instead of being 4 years old. Um, and all of a sudden my solar plexus started aching. And he's like, "You were this age when you had trauma to your solar plexus." And so he like did like a healing on the throat so it didn't hurt so much. He did a healing on the solar plexus so it didn't hurt so much. Um, and I was kind of freaking out because I all of a sudden had this feeling like, "What am I doing up here? Why did I go through that tunnel when you die?" And then he's doing this healing on me for current life trauma. That's what happens when you die. Like, that's part of what happens after you die. And so I kind of started freaking out a little bit in my mind, and I'm like, I, I, I should. I'm like, I don't belong here. Here's what I said: I don't belong here. Like, because I didn't think I should be there. I don't belong here. And he points and he says, "Do you belong there?" And when he points, it's like the clouds have like this edge or this cliff, and you can look over and you can see the entire earth. He says, "Do you belong there?" And I started crying and I was like, "No, like, no, I don't belong there." And I was crying. And let's see what he says. And I told him, oh, I told him like I need to go back. I need to go back. And it's this weird thing, but I knew that I was being given a choice of whether or not I wanted to stay there. And so I was thinking, I have like it's like, no, I don't belong on Earth. I don't belong there. But I'm like, I have like 2 little kids and I need to go back to them. Like I need to go back. And he brought like our Pegasus horses, like my black one. No, it was a white one. We both had white ones. And we took those and we like flew those back down towards Earth. We're like looking at Earth. We're like, we located the United States. And so we're flying towards that. And then we're like locating where Texas is. And we're flying towards that. And we're like, okay, this is where your city is. Let's go towards that. And we like followed the highway down to exactly where I live and came right up to it. And I felt as my soul went back into my body. Oh, that's what I forgot to tell you guys. This is why I should read my notes. When I said I didn't belong on Earth and I was crying, he changed my body from a 20-year-old. He made me he made me look like an angel. So I was like an adult and I had really big wings. And so when he did that, I calmed down because it created like this distance from the emotions of being incarnated, right? Because when we're incarnated, whatever's going on in our life seems really real and really intense. But the reality of it is that we're kind of playing parts in a play right now. This stuff, a lot of it is not going to matter very much on the other side. And so by just flipping me over into my higher self, it created that separation. And okay, I calmed down. It was like, okay. So my soul, we're coming back to where I am, where I live, where my physical body is. My soul goes into my physical body. In the second it happens, in real life, my eyes open like really suddenly, shocking. I just go boom, and I'm back in me, and I could feel the massive wings on my back still on me. And I was freaking out for, I don't know, at least a couple hours after that. Let me check my notes again. So Michael said that the light code that I was given, the light code that was chosen for me, was to repair current lifetime, some of my current lifetime trauma, so specifically throat and solar plexus. It makes sense. That's like a very thoughtful gift from the Whale Collective because while I can do Akashic Records healings, I can go into my own and other people's past lives and I can heal that trauma and help with those things. Cannot do it for the current lifetime. And so that was a thoughtful thing for them to do. Um, these notes are ridiculous. And the other thing I realized after the fact was that, so you know how everyone has like a guardian angel is what I call them. It's an angel, it's on your left side, keeps your body alive. And let's talk about that for a second because whenever I talk about it, it sounds really simple because I had a really simple understanding initially, and it's starting to get more complicated. So originally, this angel that keeps us all alive, I always felt like, okay, if I'm about to like step in front of a bus, they'll like pull me back or something because it's not my time to die yet. So they don't want you to die. But it actually is a lot more complicated than that. So when I did this thing and I went through this white light tunnel, my soul left my body. And in order to keep my body alive, my guide had fully stepped into my body to breathe for me, so my heart would beat. Like the body needs a soul to keep going, and it's entirely possible to switch souls in a body. So he stepped into my body as a place marker for me while I left. And I was told after the fact that this was an exit point for me. So, what I mean by exit point, all of us in our soul contracts before we incarnate, we all have many, many, many exit points. So, an exit point is an agreed upon time where we might want to die. Sounds kind of crazy. It's totally true. So, sometimes, and you have them all throughout your lifetime, you have them when you're a child, have them when you're a teenager, you have them at all times. And so, these exit points are opportunities for the soul to opt out of living any longer for whatever reason. They're just they're fatigued, they're not enjoying life, they're not getting things accomplished they wanted to get accomplished. It's not a conscious decision. It's a choice of the higher self who can see the big picture of what's beneficial to the smaller self, the little soul that we are. Um, so I have a lot of exit points in my 40s, apparently, which is how old I am. So this was an agreed upon time where if I was like, I don't want to go back, they would have like, my guide would have stepped out of my body. I would have like, I don't know, had a heart attack or an aneurysm or something and just died so my soul could go back. Um, so the, like I said, everyone has these. Um, And so when you have like close calls, near death experiences, that's what those are. Those are times when you could have chosen to exit life. But if your higher self wasn't ready, if they're like, no, we're good, we can stay, then you survive. Whether that be like you avoid a car accident or you get in the car accident, but you live, whatever the case may be. Um, so back to this guardian angel keeping the body alive. So he stepped into my body to keep it alive. The other thing that I learned is that souls don't want to stay in a body. Like in my mind, a soul and a body were like a lock and a key, and they just kind of they were together, and it's not. It's like oil and water where you're trying to force this soul to stay in the body. And so because of that, you have this guide whose entire job is to be like having his hands on your shoulders, like stay in there, don't accidentally leave. Because literally the soul wants to go other places, and it's like, no, you're in the body, you can't do that. um, and at nighttime when you sleep, the guide goes into your body so that your body stays alive, and you go and you dream and you explore and you talk to dead people and you talk to your spirit guides, and you can do all these things in the spirit world while you're asleep. But it's because your guide is keeping your body alive. Okay, so that is the first thing that I wanted to tell you guys. I actually want to talk to you about a dream. So it's kind of in the same, we're kind of talking about the same stuff. It was so weird. Let me see if I can find it. So, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this. So I have a dream that I don't know how long I've been having it. I'm going to say only since I've been an adult, but I'm not really sure how long. Maybe less than 10 years, but I have it like once a week or more. Like basically, if I can remember having a dream, this is the only dream I can remember having. It's really crazy. It's just very prolific, right? So I want to give you the kind of the basic idea of this dream because the details are always different. The basic idea of the dream is that I'm away from home. I could be in another country. I could just be at somebody else's house. I'm away from home and I'm trying to get back home. But in order to get home, I'm trying to gather up my belongings. I'm trying to it's like I'm trying to pack a suitcase. It's like, oh, well, I left my clothes here and my this and my that. And I'm trying to gather up all my things so I can go home. But always in the dream, I can never get past trying to gather my stuff because I'll start to gather stuff. And then it's like, no, well, I have this other stuff over there and it's hard to get to. It's like really weird. So, this is the concept of the dream over and over and over again. Earlier this week, I had the dream and it went differently and my brain exploded. So, I wanted to share that with you. So, the other thing that always happens in these dreams, if it's not me packing my luggage, like let's say I can pack all my stuff up. Because one time recently, it's like this dream is nuts. It's been progressing. So, the last time I had it 2 times ago, I was able to pack up all my stuff, but somebody actually took my purse that had my wallet in it, that had my ID in it. And I was like, there's no way I can get a plane ticket. I'm literally thinking this in my head. I can't get a plane ticket without an ID. I'm not gonna be able to leave. And so I couldn't leave because I didn't have my ID. So in this dream, let's see. Oh my gosh, I wrote this like a crazy person. I should have done this video right afterwards. You know how you have a dream and then 24 hours later you probably forgot it? This is like a week later. Um so what happened in this dream is the same concept. I knew I was trying to get home. I had friends that were traveling with me, and I remember I didn't I had my luggage, like, we were in the airport, I had my luggage, I, lost my luggage, and it was time to get on the plane, and I was like, "Screw the luggage, I have to get on the plane." And so I left the luggage wherever it was, I got onto the plane, I didn't have my ID, and so I was like, "Dang, I'm not gonna be able to get on because I don't have my ID." So I go to board, and the woman there calls me somebody else's name. she's like, you're blah, 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 blah. And in my mind, I was shown this person is already on board. Like, I'm not taking their ticket, I'm not taking their spot. They've already boarded like a different plane and gone home. They've mixed up things. And so I was like, yes, that's me. That's me, whoever that is. I will, yep. And so they let me on. So we go to get on this plane. It's not a plane. I didn't register this in the dream. I registered it afterwards. So there was like, I was on a spaceship, okay? Stadium seating. It was like all these different layers of seating that was all like in a circle, almost like a movie theater. And so I wanted to tell you kind of what the analogy was from this dream because I thought it was interesting. So basically, in order to evolve during this dream, I had to leave my baggage behind and I had to leave my ID behind. So think about this. I have to leave my baggage and my ID behind in order to board the spaceship to go back home. So I need to leave behind my human baggage, my human ID, to let my soul go back where it belongs. And so I was like, holy cow, this is a crazy dream. And there were all these numbers in it um, that had reference. Like I knew the number of my seat. I knew what day and month it was. It was like really bizarre dream, but it was on purpose so that I would look up the meaning of these numbers after the fact. So some of the messages, because I knew it was May 10th in the dream, and the meaning was making positive life choices and decisions. We create our own reality, developing your spiritual aspects. So, yeah. Okay. I don't know if there's too much more in this for you guys. Let me check. And the other thing is, so I get on the ship, we board the ship and it takes off. And I all of a sudden was so grateful. It was weird. I was so grateful for the people who had come with me. So I think I had, I don't know, 4 or 5 friends that were walking with me through the airport. So once I'm on the spaceship, I'm grateful for them. And I'm like, why am I grateful for them? They didn't help me at all. Like, they didn't help me find my luggage. They didn't help me like sneak onto the plane. They didn't help me with my ID. Like, they actually did nothing to do the work for me. But at the end, symbolically when I'm dead, symbolically when I'm just a soul and going back home, I was grateful they were beside me during my experience. So this is symbolic for us when we die. We have all these people in our lives, and they might be people who we feel like, well, gosh, you're not very helpful. You're not helping me do these things, but they're not here to make decisions for us. They're not here to live our journey for us. They're here to be whatever it is they are because that's helping us learn a lesson or that's helping us gain an experience. And so when we die, we're going to be so grateful to our enemies and to our bosses and to all these people who didn't, quote, really do anything helpful, but it was helpful because they helped us help ourselves by not interfering. Okay, that's where I'm going to leave this one for today. Let me know if you guys have like some crazy reoccurring dreams as well. Let me know if any of you have this recurring dream. I'm actually curious. Am I the only person that tries to pack for a trip that I can never go on? I must have done something good in real life to finally have boarded the plane. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.